Hello everyone, this is Mitul Nath, and today we'll be continuing our beginner-friendly Road to OSCP video series. Today we'll be looking at another hack the box machine, that is Sunday. Sunday is the OS is Solaris and it is based on Unix. So the difficulty of the box is easy. So let's just get started. So first thing I want to say that this box is really very slow and it's not very stable, and it does not respond quite well. So few of the things take a lot of time to execute. So we'll just see across it like how slow it is and how it gets stuck at times. So this was my observation from this box. So let's just get started. So first thing I always do is I run an auto recon scan. So I'll be using sudo because I want to run this auto recon tool as root because I'm running the system as Kali. So I want to run it as root because there's a UDP scan over here which will not run. And also AutoRecon, if you guys don't know what it is, it's basically it will do a full TCP nmap and for a quick TCP nmap scan, it will find open ports and services. And based on those open ports and services, it will do additional scans on those services. Okay, so if it finds like port 445 open, okay, so that is SMB. So it will probably try and check for another additional information over there. So that's what AutoRecon tool is. It's like an auto enumeration tool, and so we'll be running it using Python 3, and we'll be giving the directory where this autorecon.py file is present, and we'll be giving the target IP address, that is 10.10.10.76 in the case of Sunday, and we'll be giving the O switch for output, and we'll be giving the directory where you want to save the file as. So I already did execute the scan, so I don't want to do it again because it takes some time. And another thing is, I was not able to successfully complete the scan in like 24 hours. It took like really long, and I just did not, I just terminated the scan and I did it manually because it was taking quite some time to get the actual full TCP scan result. Okay, so the other results got completed, but the full TCP took a long time. So I had to do it manually. So let's just look at it how I did it manually. First thing I did was I did an all port scan. Okay, so I use this particular command over here. So let's just copy it and paste it. So what this command will do is it will obviously you'll will be using the tool nmap, and then we'll be giving OA for all output, and we'll be giving it an nmap full port that way. Okay, and also we'll be giving this dash p dash. What does this mean is it means like you have to scan all the ports, that is 65536 ports, right? And if you do it obviously 0 to 65535 because the 6 goes away, so you consider 0 as well. So it does from 0 to 65535. So it will scan for all the ports. Okay, then you're giving max retries over here. So it will basically be like how many, if it does not get any response, I guess, for one particular port, it will probably check max for like 5 times or something like that, retries. So maximum 6 times it will go, something like that. And then later on, it will obviously you have to give the target IP address, that is this. So this will only give us the ports which are open. Okay, it will not give us any much information. And if you see the scan result, obviously it will take some time to run. So I already did run the scan. So it will look something like this. Okay, so we have like this these ports open, that is it says 79 says finger, 111 says RPC bind, and we have these three ports over here which says unknown. So after finding this information which all ports are open, we can probably do service scans as well as your full script scans over there, like safe script scans. Okay, so we'll just terminate this. Then I did that as well, and if you can see over here open ports, I did this particular scan over here. Okay, so I'll just copy it and paste it over here. Okay, so this is like after we got the ports, right? We got like 5 ports over here. In this scan, we got 5 ports. As we can see over here, we got 5 open ports. Then we did the other scan, that is this, and we have done the save script. We are using the service scan, like whichever services are running. We'll be giving PN because sometimes the server is blocking a ping probe, so we have to give this PN switch. So it's recommended to always give it PN. Even the auto recon scans give PN, and we'll be giving the port now. So we are having multiple ports, so we'll be entering this port over here. So we'll be entering 79, then we have to enter 111, right? So we'll be giving comma to distinguish between these two ports, and we'll be giving all the remaining ports over here, 2022 37894, whichever we found over here. So these are the ports we found, so we'll be giving that, and we'll be mentioning over here. Then we'll be giving the O switch output, and we'll probably, I just renamed it to this, you can rename it to anything. And also we'll be giving the target IP address, that is this. Okay, so once you do this, you'll get a result something like this. Okay, it says over here unknown, unknown. Then it turned out that was closed. The ports, I don't know for some reason. But what we are looking for over here is this three ports over here. So we have like 22,022. This port is running SSH. Okay, service SSH. It says Sun SSH. So the version over here and over here 79 it says it's running a service called Finger and Sun Solaris Finger D. So this is what it is running, and even I was not aware what Finger service was about. So obviously, first thing what I did was I just went and I just tried to check for Finger Sun Solaris Finger exploit probably, just to check if it is a service and it is exploitable or something like that. So probably there are multiple things which came up. So can just okay, so if you can see over here, there are multiple things. It says like you can check for users using the finger tool. Okay, and we can probably go and check finger root something like that. So let's just go and do that. Okay, so in short, what it says is, you have a user and you can try and check if that user exists or not. So if you'll do finger, we'll probably just try root first because root is present in all the systems. And since this is a Linux based system, like obviously it's based on Solaris, but root user would be present. So let's just go and check what it outputs as. So it says, see, this is another problem where the box is very unstable. Sometimes it will give you a result, sometimes it won't. So probably just enter it multiple times. It says no root to host now. Okay, see, this is where we got, and this is why I was saying that this box is really unstable, and I hope we do not get such boxes in the exam as well. Because once we enter some command, obviously it's not gonna work, and we'll be like, okay, let's move on. So we say that it says login over here is root, and name is super user, and it says like TTY PTS3, and when was this user last logged in? Okay, so it says like April 24th, 2018, and it says where. So it says Sunday over here. So probably you should have a IP address from where it got logged in, or Sunday means that there is no IP address, so probably the host name is present. So I think this user has physically logged in, and the host name of the system looks like it's Sunday. So let's just keep it there for now, and we have this finger root present, right? And if you do finger and we just check some test user probably, we do not get anything. We get this error. That means this user does not exist or something like that. So now we have this tool present, right? And if we see over here, it says like finger user. We can try all this, and it will give you the list of users present. Not list of users exactly, but wherever user word is present. So it works that way. So that is one thing which we can do. Other thing is if you can. Okay. Yeah. So then I came across another website. I thought that this finger service would be exploitable. We can have a remote code execution or something. This thing also did not work. It did not give me much information. You can try that if you all want. And the remote code execution comes over here. It's like finger. You add this thing and you try to get the ID so that you'll get output something like this, but that did not work as well. So I tried for some time. I tried enumerating, trying different ways. I found on multiple websites using this remote command execution, but I was not successful. So I just moved on. And then later on after that, I was like, okay, let's enumerate users over here. So I understood that we are enumerating users, right? So we found root. So we'll try and find another user's present. So if you do finger enumeration, Sun Solaris probably misspell that. Okay, so we have this pentest monkey finger enumeration script. Okay, this is the first thing which came up over here, and there are few more scripts I guess user created. So I'll just use this because it worked out for me very well, and it says like you have to have these particular tool. Okay, so we have to probably try and use it. Probably usage over here is mentioned. You can try and download it over here, I guess, and I've already downloaded it. So let's just go and run the scan. Well, let's just see the code inside, and I don't think you have to change anything because obviously it's meant for user enumeration. So let's just take that and try and run it. Okay. So first thing, what I do is go to okay, exploit because that file is present over there. So this particular file is a Perl file. It's created Perl. So we'll be using Perl and finger.pl. We'll just do that because obviously it will give us the usage, like how do we use this particular exploit or this enumeration script. So it says like, usages, use this finger user enum. Obviously I renamed it, I guess. And then give the options, what you want to do probably. And then, give the username as you, and then give this particular thing as file of usernames and t host, something like that. So let's just do that, and finger pl will be giving you first as root just to check, and we'll be giving T switch over here, the U switch for user, because it says over here, right, username. So one another good thing is always check the usage of the script, okay, how it is mentioned. So it's mentioned over here, right, root and this. So I'm using this particular test script just to see what are results and what it outputs as. So I'll be giving the T switch as well. That is the host. So host is obviously your target IP address you have to enter because it needs some address, right, to reach, like how your Amazon or somebody courier, it needs your address to reach that delivery, so that it delivers that particular package at your place. So obviously I know you guys may be aware, but just saying. Okay, 10.10.76, it needs to go somewhere. So okay, so once we do a scan, it says like, root this, root super user, this, something like that. So what we saw earlier, right? The place where we saw earlier, we did run the scan, we found all this information present. Okay, so this is what it's gonna do. So now what we can do is, it says over here, you file of username. So we can enumerate multiple users probably. We can just try and check, like how we entered finger root, right, first, then we entered like finger test. So probably it will go and enter like test 1, test 2, test 3. We'll provide a input file over here. So what we can do is we can just check for seclist, and we can go to seclist. It's a GitHub page and it has multiple lists present over here, common list and everything. So we can go to usernames over here and just open that, and we'll see that there are multiple usernames present. You can use this, that. So you can go and check out over here, but there are some very short ones, like only 5 6 username, or there are like 10 15 username present. So we need a big list. So I just went to this names list and it says like family, female, male. So I did not want to distinguish between that. Then there was this names txt. So I clicked on that, and it had like around 10,000 entries or something. So I just use this particular thing. I just did raw, obviously. Take copy and paste it, or you can do git clone and you can download that seclist folder. Okay, so I already did create this username txt file. Okay, it has the contents present, and if you see, if you go to the last list, it has like around 10,000 entries present. Okay, so what this will do is it will check for Zula over here. Like it will check for Zula over here and it will output the result if it finds something interesting. Then it will check for Z, Y, G, something like that. So it will just keep on checking for users present over there. Okay, so if you give this Perl, and then, so I'll just tell you all how to run the script. Perl finger.pl, and we'll be giving capital U now, not the small u, because we have to give the files of username. And here also, if you can see, it mentions file of username to check. So probably this helps us sometimes, especially in fuzzing, or even your attacks, so like your brute force attacks. But obviously brute force should be limited, but yeah, we'll look into it more later. Okay, so we have u, we can enter the username txt, then we'll be entering the host, that is t, and obviously 10.10.10.70. Obviously here you can enter multiple targets as well, like if you want to attack this Sunday box or probably some other box over here, so we can enter, give the file name as well. So if we'll press this, so it will start the scan over here. Okay, it says scan started, and it will start enumerating things over here. It will start fuzzing basically. So I already did run this because this takes quite some time. Okay, and if you see over here, this is the scan which I did run earlier, and we got some output like this. Okay, access and everything, users are present. So we got something like this, and this is what is the information which we require. So if we see over here, I obviously tried first. I tried checking for access user, but it was nothing, like it was not a user or something. Then what is of interest is these two users over here, that is Sammy and Sunday. Okay, so we have, because we have the same one which we saw earlier for root, right? This PTS thing. So if we go back to our CMD over here, so we'll just check for root. Yeah, so this is what is shown, right? PTS3 and when, where, and everything. So the same thing, similar things are shown over here. Sammy, this thing, that thing. So let's just check. We have Sammy and we have Sunny over here. So we'll just go and check. Now, why I'm leaving all this thing? Actually, I did not leave. I actually checked as the scan was going on. It was displaying one entry. So I did check, this finger thing, like for access or something, but I was not able to get any much information, and these users are not present. They have like some actual information present where access is mentioned. So that's what was coming up. So that was not the actual users. You guys can go and try that out. But what stands out over here is this two entries over here, right? It says April something and the two IP address as well. So we have users Sammy and Sunny. So we tried, the user Sammy over here, and we got a proper, entry like we saw for root. Okay, so now we'll try Sunny as well. So we have Sunny over here. We enter Sunny. Take some time. Okay, see it says connection time also. That's why this box is very unstable. Now it says no root to host. No root to host again. So this is one issue which you have to face for some reason. Let's try pinging it. Yeah, it is giving a response. I'm not sure why this. Okay, see, so now we got our response over here. Okay, so we got the response for Sunny as well. We got it for Sammy. We got it for root. So what we'll do in a cherry tree, we can write confirmed users Sunny, Sammy, root. Obviously, root would be there, so I just left it in the end. Okay, so we have Sunny, we have Sammy, we have root. Okay, so we have these two users, Sunny and Sammy. So what we can do is we can either go and brute force using Hydra first, or we can obviously first thing what I always like. I came across multiple boxes that if you get a host name, okay, whichever system is present. Now, if you see over here, it says where that the user had logged in, the finger service displays the users where they were logged in. Okay, earlier. So it says login Sunny, and it was done when? It was done on April 24th. And where, like from where did that user log in? And this was the IP address. Obviously, this is an internal IP address, but it was of some different boxes. It is not the same as this 76, right? Which is the target machine's IP address. That is Sunday box. So it was this. And it was this over here. And it says Sunday over here. So the host name is Sunday of this. Like, probably it's like, the thing is that the host name is Sunday of this. I know that we know that the box name is Sunday, which is consider maybe OSCP point of view that way we do not have any host name or something present. Like obviously in Hack the Box we have names present. Just consider that Sunday was the host name which we found. So that means the user had logged in physically, like into the system. He went physically, physical login he did, not remotely. So that is Sunday is present. So what we'll do is once we get the host file over here, that is the host name, we'll try and use it as a password. So whenever you see something like host name or like you get a domain information where the box name would be like Sunday and .htb. So you try that particular domain first part as a password or something like that. Just try and check like if you get something useful. Okay, so if we do, I'll just show you all. If we do SSH, we'll probably just take Sammy user and we'll be giving 10.10.10.76. So it says, okay, so we need this for SSH, right? We'll just run it. Okay, so another thing is SSH, we did not give the port because port 22 is not running SSH over here. If we see the port running SSH is 22022. So we'll mention that 22022. Okay, we give that. Then it says unable to negotiate with this, something like no matching key exchange method found, they are offers, something like that. So let's just go and Google this error and unable to connect. So if we go over here and we check out this legacy options, okay, and it says over here that in case that we need to use old methods, so whenever there's an SSH connection happening, okay, secure shell, there'll be a exchange method happening, like a encryption method. So that is done over here. In the box we require new methods, but the box is offering old methods over here, okay, like group exchange and group one SHA and something. So this is the old algorithms which are being used, okay. Probably they'll be weak, and also it is not in our particular file, SSH file, config file probably. So in order to use these old method, because box is like, okay, it's like as simple as you consider this mobile versions, okay, the 4G 3G. So I'm like, hey, I want to communicate with you with only 4G, but the box is like, hey, I don't have this 4G service because I'm too old, so I'm using 2G service. So I'll be giving you 2G only, so you connect with 2G. Like obviously, I know 4G would not work because it would be incompatible. So that's why it's like, okay, I'm giving you 2G. So now what I have to do is in my system I have to start 2G as well. So in short, I'll be like, hey, you know what? It's okay. You run this with 2G. So this is what it's doing. We are lowering our, trying to lower our algorithms over here. So that's why we need this particular line of code, not code exactly, but this switch. So let's just copy it. I don't think, okay, we require only this much, then we can copy the other one over there. Okay, so we'll run this again and we'll paste this. This is the switch, actually the plus entire thing, and we'll be using any one of these algorithms over here. So probably just take this because it says over here, right, they are offer, it's like, hey, they are offering 2G and I got 4G over here, so that way. So we'll just try and enter this. Take some time. So it says password. So obviously, as I said earlier, that we found some host name, right? Let's just try and enter it as a password. And it says incorrect, obviously 3 times incorrect. Okay. So we are done with that. Obviously, we can try with root as well, but it does not work for root. So we can try it for Sunny user. It will take some time again, and just try Sunday, and we are in the system as user Sunny. So if you do who am I, another thing is this SSH is very laggy and it gets stuck at times, so multiple times. So I'll just upgrade my shell very soon. So I'll just tell you all. Before that, we'll just quickly look at Hydra as well. So we do who am I, and so that's what the shell has been stuck. So in short, we got the shell right. So I'll just try to close it, and probably we'll just do Hydra over here. Okay. So we'll be using Hydra. So because obviously if you'll be like, okay, we have the Sunday box over here, and then like we know the host name, but what if we want to actually guess the password? What if this was not the password over here? So we can try and brute force it as well. SSH, that is not always recommended, but if you don't see any option, probably you can try brute forcing SSH connections. So we'll be using Hydra over here, and just we'll just enter Hydra. Then it will actually give us a nice usage. So we can probably take this and use it as it is. So we'll just try to use Hydra, and it will be like L user. So probably we'll just enter over here as user is Sunny, and then later on the password list. Okay, so before that we do not want to give the pass list because we know the password already, right? Just for to show you all, I'll just give the P, the small p, and I'll put the password. Okay, and we got the password now. And another thing is we will be giving the password, obviously, the Sunday, and also the service. So it says SSH, right? Our service is SSH, and we'll be giving the IP address, that is target IP address, the address where it has to reach. So that is 10.10.10.76. Okay. Now what we'll do is we have SSH over here. We have the target IP address. Another thing, we are running SSH on a non-standard port. That is, we are not running on 22. We are running on 22022. Okay, so we are running on that. So probably just so that's why you have to the usage is mentioned over here. So you have to enter service, server, and the port itself. Whenever there's a non-standard port, please try it and put it, because sometimes even I put when you do a normal SSH, I put my port as 22. I know it's default, but I just to be safe, I put 22 over there. So we have the port number to be given away, and we put this. We run Hydra, and if you guys didn't know, Hydra is like a brute forcing tool. Okay, so it will try and check for multiple users and logins over there. Okay, so this resulted in Sunny Sunday, and it says that actually this was successfully completed. I don't know why it did run on the first go, but for some reason it does not give you a valid entry. Probably we'll check now. I don't know why did this come up, because when I was testing it I was not able to do this. So we'll just look at it quickly. Okay, so we'll just come back to this box. We'll see, I mentioned something, I just hit a key but it's still stuck over. This box is very unstable. So Hydra is also taking quite some time. So what Hydra is doing basically, okay, for some reason again it gave Sunny and Sunday. It says valid password found, but I was not able to do it without actually entering only this value. So I had to enter this T4 as well. So I did this, limit the number of parallel tasks. It is recommended to use T4. So I did use T4, and I was able to get the same result. But I don't know, the box is acting somehow funny, and it did not. Let's just remove T4 now. For some reason it's giving me, otherwise it actually displayed like zero valid passwords found. Okay, so that's what this box is, very unpredictable for some reason. But yeah, I used the T4 command, and the T4 command obviously gave us the correct output. So why I'm saying is, obviously you do not know the password first when you're trying to brute force, right? But this service was very this, so I was just trying to show you all. So another thing is, obviously we have the user Sunny over here. We can take and test user Sammy as well. We can give the P switch, the capital P, and we can get a sec list. Okay, sec list is present over here already. Let's go to passwords, and we have few passwords over here, right? And you can have this dark web, top 10, top 100, top 10, 1000, 10,000. So what I would probably do is, like, and here also we have like 10, 100, and then 1000, 10,000. So let's just start with probably 10, then go to 100, then go to 1000, then go to 10,000. Like, increase it slowly, slowly. If you do not find, obviously first when you don't go and use this, you can do that as well, but just try going it gradually maybe. Okay, so we have this box over here. Do MI again, we'll do LSLA. Okay, so we are in this directory. We go to CD desktop. I'm actually typing something, but it do not display on this box. So that's why this box is very unstable, unpredictable, very laggy. Okay, so this is how, then we have to enter the user, like how we enter this username txt, right? So obviously we have to enter the password file like that, which says like password and file txt, something like that, and start our connection. So we have to give the service over here SSH probably, because that's how it was mentioned in the usage as well, like FTP. So we were using SSH, so we gave that. Okay, so that's how Hydra would be running over here, and you can, in the end you will get password as Sunday. And if you check this particular 10,000 one, so it takes a lot of time to run, obviously brute force, so I didn't want to do that. So if we check that Sunday password as well, so obviously it will give you the result. Okay, so we are over here. We'll go to desktop, we'll do LSLA, and we do not get our flag over here. There's no user flag present. We'll just check in CD documents. So this is what happens. It gets just stuck over here. So what I'll do is, instead of SSH, I'll try and run a netcat shell. Like, I'll just set up a listener and I'll send a bash shell over here, because this box is very unstable. So we'll do that once this thing actually gets better. For some reason it's not getting better. Let's just go and check for Pentest Monkey. Take this. We'll be using that. So just, okay, we'll have the password as well over here. Pass Sunday. Okay. Users obviously Sunny, Sammy, root. Okay. So we have this. We have to modify it, and the only thing you have to modify is the IP address over here and the port number. That's it. So I'll be entering 14.28. That is my attack machine's IP address. That is my Kali machine, and I'll be giving the port 44444. Okay, let's copy it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just split terminal horizontally, and I'll be giving NC VLP 4444. Okay, so I'll go here. I'll just get the shell over here because this shell was very stable, the bash one, but the SSH wasn't. So I'll just do that. I'll be giving this switch bash and everything, and let's press enter. We got our shell over. Obviously, it's the same user Sunny itself. So if we do who am I, we can, this is much better. It does not lag and everything. So we do not get our user flag over here. So if we go back, we have another user which says like Sammy. Okay, so obviously we found the user earlier. So let's just go into Sammy, and we go into desktop. Okay, CD desktop. Okay, so we have a user flag over here, but we cannot cat it because the only person who can read is Sammy. Because I'll tell you why. So first thing is this is the range where the user Sammy falls, the first user. That is, he can only read this file. Then comes the staff group. That's the group. So whoever belongs to staff group does not have any access any which way. And we belong to the third group, that is others. Because we do not belong to Sammy, and I don't think we belong to staff as well. So we belong to this others group where read, write, execute is not present at all. So we cannot do that if we do use cat user txt, and it says permission denied. So if we can probably just check for groups, it says we belong to other groups. Okay, so the name of the group is other. Okay, so we were not able to do that. So somehow we have to go and try and go to the user Sunny. So first thing what I always do is I in Linux boxes I check obviously uname A gives us information about the kernel, and the so this is a 32-bit system. Architecture is 32 bits, so that it gives us that information, and then later on after that it will you probably can have I do sudo l. So this is what I always do first. Sometimes I'm lucky, sometimes obviously I'm not, because the boxes are designed that way. And it says like user Sunny may run the following commands on this host. Okay, so I can run a command as root with, and I have to not give any password, and I can run this root troll command. So let's just try and see first thing what this root troll is, because it's not some tool or something like that. So let's just go and check what root troll is. So we can probably just enter root troll. Okay, for some reason, okay, probably just enter sh. Okay, it's my bad. I have to enter sudo because you have to run it as root, right? My bad. So if we okay, I'm not sure, we got stuck up over here for some reason. So I think something went wrong and got stuck. So we do not have anything over here as well. The SSH box also got stuck. As I mentioned that this box is really unstable. So let's just close this. Let's try to SSH again. SSH Sammy, sorry, Sunny 76, and then later on give the port as 22022, and we'll be giving that OLEX thing. Copy, and I think this was the same algorithm which it was using, so let's just copy and paste it. password as Sunday. I'm not sure what's wrong, but it's not letting me log in for some reason. Okay, so we are over here. So we'll obviously upgrade our shell again. We'll take this and obviously we'll put start netcat over here. 4444. We take this, we send it, we get our netcat again. Okay. So we'll do lsla, we do sudo l. We have this, sudo root troll. We'll run this, and it says something like once we run it, it will say something like testing, and then it says like UID 0 root GID 0. So what it looks like, I do not have the content of the file, but for any guess, it would say like probably like print this testing. So just print testing first in the file and then give the ID. So probably they might have written something like echo testing or something, and then later on after that next line it would be like ID. So you enter the ID. So that's what it is doing, I guess, like after the next line. So I'm not sure, but it looks like that. It's just printing the ID and ID of the user which is present. Okay, so if I do my ID over here as user Sunny, okay, I don't know, this box froze up again. Okay, so we have this UID, that is user ID. This is this 655535, and then we have the group ID, that is one other, and then we have groups other. Okay, so we have this information. So we are obviously not root over here. So we have this, so we can run this particular file. So let's just cat it. Oops, root and troll. So it says permission denied. So we cannot cat that file, obviously, and obviously we cannot do sudo cat as well because we can only run this command as sudo. That is this thing. Okay. So we cannot cat that file. We cannot read that file maybe. So what we can do is we can probably try and write to that file if we have permissions, but it is present in root role, but it does not happen. Okay, you cannot write to that file. So you can try that if you want. So another thing what I would do is first thing I obviously do this sudo l. I did not find anything. Obviously I found something, but I need to check what this file is, but it says permission denied. Then I run a enum scan, and later on I could not find anything much over here. But only thing obviously what the I'll just show you what the scan result will show. If you do enum, there'll be one thing which says like your root directory has this multiple folders present over here. Okay, so there are a few folders present, and if you look at the dates, obviously this is very much updated like 2020 when I'm using the box right now, and it says like few folders are present over here, which is like 2020 itself, then 2018 over here, and then we see the time as well over here. So if you see that this particular folder over here is very unusual because backup is not present over here. Okay, so we do not have the backup folder present. It will either be present like your www any directory or something like that, but it's not present over here. So we can go and check out for this backup folder, which is not likely to be there. Otherwise all this folder, right, there's opt and then home folder, etc folder, dev folder, bin folder is already present over here. Okay, let's just go and look at the backup folder. Obviously I had to enumerate things over here, then I got to know about this backup folder. So it's not that first glance I was like, okay, backup is present, let's go, something like that. But yeah, it's the first folder present over there, and it looks a bit strange to be present there. So again, the box froze up, I guess, for some reason. This box is literally like, I would not let you succeed over here. Okay. So it did give us the result, that is agent 22 backup and shadow 22 backup, and it belongs to root and root group as well. So we belong to this particular group over here, and it says we have execute permission for some reason, and I'm not sure what this file is. Let's just try and execute it and see what we get. It says permission denied. Okay, we actually can execute this file, but I'm not sure why. Okay, fine. So another thing is we belong again to this third category group because we belong to others. We do not belong to root user. We do not belong to root group. We belong to other category. So we belong over here. We have read access. So let's just take this copy, cat this particular file. If you guys don't know, shadow file is actually the file where your passwords and everything are present. Obviously, it's present with salt and everything, but that's a shadow file, like etc shadow file. If you do, but you cannot do etc shadow file over here. It will say permission denied. Yeah. So that's where the password and everything is present. Like in Windows, you have your SAM file, right? So over here, this shadow file is present. Okay, so we see SAMI user present. We see Sunny and we see Sammy. So Sunny, we obviously know what the password is, and Sammy, we do not know what the password is. So what we'll do is we'll just take this and try and crack it using our John. So John will be using that. Okay, take this, probably just enter it in load, create a password. Just mention password hash maybe. Okay, take it, paste it. Okay, we'll just paste it over here as well. Sammy hash. Okay, we can probably mention this way. Or okay, okay, so we have this particular hash over here, and for user Sammy. So let's just try and decode this. Not decode exactly, because if you use John, you're not decrypting the hash because hash is one way. Okay, it's not reversible. So we are just trying. I'll just show you all what I mean. First thing is we'll just take Sale cd. Go back to our root folder. It's like we have password hash over there. We'll be using sudo because we need to run John as root. So we'll be using sudo John, and then we'll be giving the password file, that is password hash, and then we have to obviously give the word list as well. You have to enter password over here, but it will actually not work. You have to give the word list over there. So what we'll do is we'll locate the word list first. So for John, there is a rocku txt which has like millions of names and sorry millions of password. So we'll be using that first. We'll just check for rocku txt. It's present over here. We'll use this. It is present in your Linux system. Word list rocku. So we'll be using that. Then we'll be giving sudo John password hash, and then we'll be giving the word list, and we'll be pasting this rocku txt. So since hash is irreversible, like you cannot reverse it, what John will do is John will first quickly take and pre-compute all these passwords which are present, right? It will create the hashes over there. Or first, it will probably check for what kind of hash is present, because in hash also there are multiple hash, right? This will probably be with salt, so it will be like SHA 256 or something like that, or 512, or SHA 1, which is a shorter version of SHA. So it will check for that first, and then probably it will. Where did it go? Okay, so it will check for that, and then later on it will use that particular format. Like suppose if it finds SHA 1 format and this password hash, then it will try and probably execute this, and it will build up SHA 1 hashes of this particular file. So if suppose in this rocku txt there's a password which says Sunday probably with the previous user password. So it will take Sunday word and it will convert it into SHA 1. So that is irreversible, right? But you can compare the hashes. So once it compares and it actually creates whichever entries are present, like in 1 million entries are present, it will compute that hashes like of SHA 1. Then it will compare that which hash belongs to this hash. Okay, so sometimes there are like hashes are same as well. Suppose there's one password Sunday and there's another password called Monday. So it can have the same hash because that's the hash collision attack, because it's very common in like lower hashes. So if that happens, then obviously that hash would work as well. So if even if you enter Sunday or Monday, does not matter because the hash is going to be the same. Okay, so that happens very unlikely, but it is present, and that hash collision attacks do happen. So just a small this about hashes. Okay, so another thing is you enter sudo, you enter John, you enter the password hash over here, and then you give the word list rock you. So you run this particular thing, and it says that one loaded one hashes and no password left to crack, because obviously I did run this earlier and I already got the password of that. So you if it will actually display over here something like whatever the password is, like in after this line, I guess. So what we'll do is we do not need the word list now because it has already cracked that password. So what we'll do is we'll just enter show, the show switch with this two dashes, and it says that we got this password. Okay, so this is the cool dude is the password of this user. So we'll say probably enter pass is cool dude and this exclamatory mark. Let's just try and check that if it is actually the password. So we'll just do split vertically. Here also we'll do the same, because if we are successful in SSH, we'll probably upgrade our shell, because this is very buggy, this shell. So we'll probably use this command over here, but we'll be changing Sunny to Sammy obviously. Okay, so we'll pasting Sammy. Okay, we'll press enter, go and paste our password. It's taking some time to load obviously. So we have this password. I'll paste that password, cool dude exclamatory, and we come over here. We are in the system over here. And as we saw earlier, like one thing I forgot to mention, obviously we will not, that root entry was not present over there. So root entry was missing. Otherwise, if we would have got the root hash, so it would be better. But yeah, so we are in the system as Sammy now, and probably first thing I'll do is just upgrade my shell. I'll just take this thing, copy it. Okay, I'll just edit it over here. Sorry, just give 5555, because obviously 444 this thing is running. So just to avoid confusion, left side is user Sunny, right side is user Sammy. So this is what we'll be doing to in order to execute things properly. So we'll be checking and CNVLP 555. Okay, giving this and press enter, and we get a shell over here in this terminal as user Sammy. So we are over here, we do LSLA, and we go to desktop, cd desktop, LSLA. Okay, we obviously we are as user Sammy, and we fall in this category over here, so we can read this particular user txt file. So you guys can go and cat it. Okay, so we do that, and later on, I always obviously check for other things as well. In the home directory itself, I check manual enumeration if I find things. And obviously, I don't want to do uname again because it's going to be the same thing. And we'll do sudo l because it can be different. And yes, it is different. It says user Sammy can run the may run the following commands as this. So we can run this wget command over here as root. So if you guys know what wget is, I have used it in previous videos as well. For some reason this box got it's frozen, I guess, because we did not get that particular yeah, so okay. So wget is basically used to make a request and get a particular file from a HTTP server or something. So we can use this as root. Okay, so there are multiple ways where we can probably use wget to actually get our privilege escalation done over here. So we'll just close this for now. We'll go back to cd exploit, or we'll go back to okay, we'll just be over here. Okay, so first thing, there are multiple ways where we can use this and exploit this wget. One simple solution, and I can tell you all the simple ways, you can just do sudo. If you just want the flag, root flag, because you can run wget as root, we can use sudo wget. Another thing is, since this is a particular tool, right, this is present in the binary, you can use wget like immediately. If you just press wget over here, you'll get the usage. So you can use that. So you can directly use it as sudo wget. You don't need to enter the entire path over here, because this tool already has a shortcut binary present. Like just once you press wget, the system interprets as like, hey, we have to call this wget. That troll file probably it was not present over there, so that's why I guess it did not work. Okay, I did not try, but most likely I don't think it would work that way. Okay, so we have sudo wget over here. Easiest thing is use the I switch, use the file which is present, that is your root, t, root txt, and then you probably just press enter or add a a path over here, and it will actually display the contents of this flag. So I don't want to do that. You guys can go and do it. So that's the easiest way, because obviously you're not going to get a shell over there. So another thing what I can do is I have sudo wget, right? So this is present. So what I did was when I saw this box, obviously I saw wget, and obviously we have that user Sammy is can run this troll file, right? So what I did was I just quickly just try and create another terminal over here. I know it looks a bit messed up, but yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just create another listener over here that says NVLP and port 777. Okay, because we have, okay, we'll use 666 for now. Okay, so we have this, we can run this file as troll. So wget is you can get a file. Okay, if you see wget, using wget command, we have some file, probably we can create some file troll, and we can take this particular troll file using the wget command as sudo. Okay, since we are using as sudo, so we are using it as root, and if we saw over here we get permission denied if we actually try to cat it or maybe write it. You cannot write it as well, so we need root privileges for that. So what happens is we have this troll file over here, right? Okay, so I'll just enter over here first. I'll putting, okay, troll root troll. Okay, so we have this root troll file present over here, and I think we do not have permissions to write as well over here. We can check that without the sudo command, but since we have sudo, we'll be using that sudo wget. So what we'll do is we'll try and send another file over here, which is a malicious troll file. Okay, and inside that there'll be some malicious content, because why, once we take this file using wget, we'll replace it with this particular file over here, then we'll call this root troll using sudo root troll from this sunny user. So that's how this particular file will get executed. So let's just see what to do. First thing is, obviously I'll go and I'll create that troll file. So create document, just create a normal file, troll, press, then put the your path as bin sh, because I want this file to run as sh, bin sh, and then I'll be putting the directory, I'll be putting the simple bash shell again, so the one which we found earlier, right? Okay, take this and paste it over here, and we'll enter 6666. Okay, that's it, as simple as that. We go back to this particular folder. We have this, we chmod it to 777 because don't want any restriction. I know we can do it with this permission, but yeah. So we'll be entering Python 3 over here. We'll be starting our HTTP server and 8000. Okay, so we did that, and in short, let's just close this. I don't think we require it anymore. Okay, so in short, what we'll do is we'll take this troll file from here. Okay, first we can use, I'll just tell you all, we can use the command sudo wget as Sammy. Okay, we can use this sudo wget as Sammy, and then we can use another command which says sudo root troll. I know it sounds a bit confusing, but it can be analyzed very easily. So we have these two different permissions present over here, one as user Sammy and one as Sammy. Okay, so just consider this particular first part, sudo and troll, like sudo root troll. Okay, so we have this as Sammy, which is our left user, this user present. Obviously left is both this Sammy, this shells are Sammy, and this is sorry, my bad, left both is Sunny and this is Sammy. So over here also I need to enter and change this, it's Sunny actually, my bad. Okay, so we have this Sunny user. Okay, so this can run this root troll file, and this user can run this wget file as sudo without any password. We do not have to enter password. Even if we had to enter, then we can enter because we know the password, right? But that is for SSH. Yeah, actually the shadow file as well. But yeah, we can enter the password as well. But it says no password here, so it makes things easier. Okay, so we have sudo wget as SAMI. We have sudo root troll. We can run that. Now, if we run this root troll, okay, just consider we are just running this sudo root troll now. Just consider we are running this command. And what it will give us is, we saw earlier as well, right? Sudo root troll. It says like testing UID, this, something like that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it does this. So now you want to change the content of this so that you can actually get a reverse shell. So for that, what you'll do is you'll try and write some malicious reverse shell over here. Okay, so if you add this reverse shell, so you can try and do this. So now what you'll do is you have this shell present. You want to replace this actual original file which displays this thing to this malicious reverse shell which has the bash shell waiting to connect to port 6666 on our attack machine. You want to do this, okay, but I'll just show you all. You cannot do that without using sudo. Okay, so if you do wget over here, and if we started our Python server, right? Okay, so from obviously from Python server, from attack machine we'll be transferring file to our target machine, this troll file. So we'll be using wget. We'll be giving the IP address of our attack machine, that is 10.this 8000, and we'll be giving the file name, that is troll, and we'll be giving the output directory over here. We want to output it, so we'll be in the O switch, and we'll be giving root troll. Okay, we have this root troll. So if I press enter now, it says permission denied. So we can probably get the file, but it will say permission denied because we cannot overwrite this root troll file over here. We cannot output this troll file to this troll file. So hence we need this, probably we need this sudo wget over here. Okay, so we cannot do this because it says error, you do not have permissions. But now the user Sammy comes in picture. He's like, hey, you know what? I can use this wget command as sudo, that means root, and I will help you get this particular. I will help you. This user Sammy is like, get this particular file and overwrite it over here. And then once I run this particular troll file, which is malicious now, I run it with this Sammy account. Okay, I'll just run it with this sudo root troll, sorry, Sunny account. So it will actually give me a reverse shell. So let's try and do that. Okay, so obviously first we'll be writing sudo wget, and so now we are as Sammy, right? We have to do the first part now. We are not there over here, right? We have to do sudo wget as Sammy first thing. We have to get this over here. So we do that 10.10.14.28. This is my attack machine's IP address, Kali machines. So 1000, and we'll be getting this file. We'll be outputting it to root and troll. Okay, troll. Okay, we'll press enter. And it says it was successful. It says it's saved. And over here also we get the response, obviously 200. Okay, so now it looks like we have this file, overwritten over here. It says root troll, it's overwritten. Now what we'll do is we'll use this. First part is done. Sammy's job is done. Now Sunny comes in picture. He's like, Sunny, like, hey, I'll run this file as root troll. So I'll probably copy paste this and paste it over here. And if we run, it says again testing UID. So it looks a bit suspicious that what had just happened, because here it actually overwrote this file. So obviously first thing what comes in mind is that probably there's some job running over there which is trying and overwriting this root troll file to this default file over here. So for just to make things simpler, we'll just try to, okay, we cannot cat the file as well. Okay, so we'll just try and do, what we'll do is we'll try and execute things very fast. Okay, so what we can do is we can press this and paste it and press this. If I, okay, so if I alt and press left arrow, I'll come here, alt and right arrow, I'll come here. This is what I did first. Okay, so first time when I ran it, so I'll just use the same command again, and very quickly once it says saved, right, I'll go and switch over there and I'll press the enter command. Okay, Oh, it says like bad file unit number or something like that. So let's just look at a troll file. I don't know why it's not executing. Probably let's just try it again. Oh, same command. We'll try and copy paste it. Okay, run this. It got stuck. It froze. Okay, let's run this. I don't know. It says bad file, some error, so that I don't know, for some reason you cannot execute that. So let's just change this bash to, sorry, shell to bash, and let's see. Use the same commands again. Do it very quickly. Okay, and we get our shell over here. If you see, we are in the system as root. Okay, and obviously we go back, cd root, lsla. So that means we came over here. It was somehow, trying to overwrite this file. We did overwrite it first, but there's some job running which make it's back to the original file. So we had to get it very quickly, and we had to run this file very quickly as Sunny. Okay, so we came over here, and if we see, we can obviously read this root text. So I just want to show you all that overwrite file. We can just do cat override, and it says like, see, user bin while do, that means while true, sorry, not while do. So while true, that means it will keep running forever. Do this, and cat this file. It's like it's saying cat this root troll original. I think there's a root troll original file over here, and it says save it to this root troll file, override, then sleep for 5 seconds. So that means, sorry, in short, every 5 seconds it's running this, and it's actually running it forever, but it's sleeping for 5 seconds, and again it's running this, sorry, same thing again, and it's overwriting. So let's just check this cat troll original. Okay, again it froze up for some reason. Ah. Okay, I'm not sure, it froze up again, but yeah, that is one way, second way of exploiting it. Then okay, we got the result over here. It says like obviously echo, I just mentioned, right? Anybody, it will be like, it will echo something, and then it is entering the ID over here, like earlier I had mentioned in the video. Okay, so that's what it is doing, and we are obviously in the system as root. Another thing what we can do is, since we have wget present, we can actually send, and I'll just show you one more way to do it. Okay, we do not require that just now. We obviously got root, and we did it very quickly. Another way you can do is, obviously you can add sudo, and you can add the sleep command over here, sleep for 5 seconds, and then add this, and then add the sudo file over here. Okay, so once this particular file, it will sleep first for 5 seconds, and I'll be ready over here just to press enter. I just need to press enter. So it's done. I'll press enter, and we get a shell over here. So that's like one more quick way you can do this particular thing. Okay. Now another thing what I want to show you all is using wget. How can we get the root text? Okay. So we'll not get the root text over here. We'll get that override script. Just for example, because I don't want to show you all the root text obviously. So we'll do that, and we'll be using netcat for that. So we'll just close this. We do not require this anymore. We'll start on it. We cannot do it with Python because that's an HTTP server, but it does not accept post requests. So we'll be using netcat over here. So we'll be listening on port 6666. Okay, we'll just leave this open, and I'll just show you all what we can do. So the override file, if we just try to get it from root override, it says permission denied because you need root access to read this root override file. But just consider that override file as the flag. Okay, so we can just do sudo wget, then we'll enter the post data. Sorry, not post data, post file. We'll enter the post file, we'll enter this, and we'll enter override. and then we'll enter the IP address where we want to send it to the post file. So we can do this with curl as well, but obviously wget, we have the sudo wget here, so we'll use that. Okay, we'll be giving this, okay, not this 8000 port, my bad. We'll be giving 6666 because which we had entered over here. So this is attack machine's IP address, and then we'll be giving the port. So let's just press enter. And it says connected, it sends something. Let's see what it sent. So it actually sent us the contents of the file, okay? So that is your bin bash, true, all this thing which we saw earlier over here, right? When we enumerated, we found all this thing over here. So actually it sends us the content over here. So obviously that's a quick way to get the flag as well. Just use this post data and get that. So we do not require this, not very useful. So we'll just close this. Another thing is we use sudo l, right? So this particular command is written in some file, and if you guys don't know, that is etc sudoers file. It's present in etc and it's sudoers. So we'll look at etc sudoers. So obviously it says permission denied. So what we can do is we can send it the same way as this particular file over here. So just take this. I don't write the commands over and over again, so you can mention etc and sudoers. Take this, okay. Before that, we can just look at the shadow file. And we'll start this again, netcat on 666. Press enter and gets this file. And we get the shadow file with root password hash as well. But I was not able to crack it for some reason. So I think it is not present in RockQ password list. So if you guys want, you all can go and crack it further, but I was not able to do it. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. And then obviously another way of doing it is that you can probably replace this with a known hash, or you can create your own hash password and you can replace this sudo etc file. And how you would do that is obviously once you have this file present, right, copy paste it, create a new password with hash and everything, and then later on paste it over here. And once you have this malicious file, you can take and upload it into and overwrite it into etc shadow file, like how we did it for the troll file, right? So another thing what I want to show you all is the etc sudoers file. So we can take this sudoers and copy it, paste it. Okay, so we need to set up this connection again. Just clear this. Okay, press enter. DC sudos. Okay, probably just have to wait because the box is famous for its freezing. Probably very lazy because it's Sunday. Take some time, let's just wait, be patient. Hope we do not get such boxes in our OSCP exam. I'm not sure why it's taking so long though. Okay, we already got it. Okay, so it says that this is our sudoers file away. So what we'll do is I'll just take it, copy it, and just and you know exploit only. I'll just create a file that is sudoers and paste the contents over there. Now, if we see over here, it says like the sample. Obviously, these things hash means this is a comment. Okay. Obviously, we have the first one that is root has all privileges. Then it says for us, we saw Sammy, right? We can use wget, and we saw Sunny, we can use troll. So what we'll do is obviously we can take this. It says over here as the same thing without a password. So if you want to execute this, user should execute something without a password. You can use this no password all but it's mentioned root, right? So let's just be as it is and we'll mention all over here instead of this thing. Same thing over here is mentioned. Okay, just take this, mention all in caps. That's it for Sammy only. We'll not do it for Sunny. Just do it for Sammy. We change that, okay, and we change it to all. Obviously do not would not try to recommend and do this in your box over here in Hack the Box, but obviously in OLCP exam you can very well do it. Why not in Hack the Box? Because some other users use the box as well. So we have this file saved over here. I'll save it. I'll go over here. I'll close this. Do not require this. Chmod it just in case. Sudos, okay. Then now I'll start my Python HTTP server because I want to get that file etc sudos and replace it over here. So what I'll do is, okay, I'll need to add the command sudo wget 10.10. My attack machine's IP address, port 8000. The file name is sudo us, and later on I'll be outputting it to etc sudo us. Okay, before that I just typed it, so I'll just take this and I'll cancel it. Copy selection. I always try and whichever commands which I'm using frequently, I paste it in cherry tree or some text file, so I can keep copy pasting and just change the parameters rather than entering the entire thing. I just want to show you all, if I do sudo l now, it says that you can only use, pay close attention to this. So user can use this command only. So now once I take that sudos and I use that, let's see what happens. We got the file saved. Now I'll just run sudo l, and it says that root can use anything over here, like as in Sammy can run any command as root without any password and all commands. So what we'll do is we add the netcat listener on 6666. Okay, we'll take that bash one liner just because we can run any command, right? So we can take this, we already have it over here, 6666. Take this, paste it over here, and obviously it's listening, and we got a shell over. Okay, we got a shell as Sammy, my bad, because I did not enter sudo, so let's just run it again. Sudo bash. See, we could not obviously run this, we could only run wget, but we could not run this, so we have in the system as root, if you guys can see. Okay, so this is how we did this thing. We can run any command basically now as sudo. We can just do anything what we want. If we see which Python as well, and there is Python, right? So we'll just run Python also just to show y'all. Take this, obviously paste it over here. Change the IP address, that is 10 14 28. Port will give 6666. Okay, we'll change this to bash because we know bash is present. Use this. We'll use sudo now. We'll obviously open the port. We're using sudo. We'll be giving the Python, and we got it over here. In short, we can run all the commands as sudo. I just wanted to show you that we can run any command. Okay. I don't know if OMI I entered the wrong command, so I think it froze over here, but we are in the system as root. Okay, so this was the box, and this was one way. I know I showed you multiple ways, but sometimes what happens is, if you get stuck, like if there is only that intended part, and if you were not aware, like you're changing the sudos file, or you change this particular thing, or you get this particular flag, or if there is a SSH folder present for root, and SSH file is present, so you probably get the certificates over there, okay, or private key or something. So that's how multiple ways to get, but obviously this box does not have SSH folder for root. So that's how it is done, and hope you guys liked the video. If you guys liked it, give a thumbs up, and if you guys have any queries, do leave it in the comments. If you guys have any suggestions as well, so you can do let me know, because I'm also in this process of learning. And yeah, do subscribe for more upcoming videos. Thank you.